Hey kids, Ricardo Pascal here, and I'm here with an alto saxophone, and I want to show you how to consistently put your horn together so that you're having the best playing experience you can possibly have. Because when you put the saxophone together and you play it, you want it to work properly. You just do. So this is how you get a more consistent setup. First, of course, you got to put your neck on, but you also have to make sure that this is loose right here. Put it right on, just like that, of course. Make sure it lines up with your mouth nicely, because that's where the air and the articulation and everything's coming from. Then screw this back tight, like so. Make sure this doesn't move. We want to make sure that there are no leaks in the instrument, right? Next, we want to take our reed, which I hadn't had mine on already, but let me take it off. And you're going to laugh at me probably, but it's sloppy, playing the saxophones with our mouths, and this reed comes out of your reed box or case, whatever you have, comes out dry. We want to wet that up, right? Yep, it's comical, but that's what's going to have to happen. And the reason we do that is because we want our reed to vibrate better, right? We want our reeds not to squeak and squawk like birds. We want to sound like beautiful saxophones. So make sure that reed is wet. Some people are grossed out by their own spit or something. I don't know. So get a cup of water, glass of water, just wet the reed. It's easy. Once that's fully wet, move on to our next step, which is to align the reed to the front of the mouthpiece and place the ligature a few meters from the ridge. So, there's your reed. I like to make sure my reed has a little bit of that black coming up on the top there. Don't know if I can show you that. Just a little bit, right? Make sure that reed is kind of aligned and well centered there, right? Oftentimes I'll play it even without the ligature, right? If I can't do something like that, I know my reed's not on correctly. Next, take our ligature, put it on. And for this, make sure it's loosened before you put it on so it can actually get on. And make sure that it's like a few millimeters away from the edge there. You see that? So not too far on, but not too far this way or this way. It's just kind of, it's kind of in the middle, like that. All right. Now our mouthpiece is together. Our reed is fully wet, the back part too, to avoid squeaks. And now we should be able to make some sounds on the mouthpiece. And one thing that always contributes to a better playing experience for me is if I can make a scale on the mouthpiece or even bend a lot. Like so. And if I can play, again, a major scale, going from bottom to top, top to bottom, I find that flexibility is quite nice. You can do this on a soprano mouthpiece, a tenor saxophone, if you play tenor saxophone out there. It's mainly what I play. Or you can do this on a Barry mouthpiece. You should be able to play a scale. It won't be the same scale for the various mouthpieces because they're all different size. But you should be able to have some amount of flexibility. Maybe not a full scale at first, but maybe half a scale, a quarter of a scale. Give it a try. It's a lot of fun. Try not to annoy your parents. Next. Where's my cork grease? Where's my cork grease? Swear I had it. Cork grease. Very important to have. You see how I couldn't find it? Make sure you have it. So, and again, many of you have probably learned all this, but it's very important, and even professionals forget to do this. Because your cork is going to degrade if you keep trying to shove a dry mouthpiece on it. You want to make sure you put some cork grease around, right? You don't even need that much. Just make sure you see a little dab here or there. Right? You might want to unscrew it a bit and do it like that. So make sure that's on there. Put that to the side. Spread that around the whole cork. It's just going to help your cork last longer, you know. And now that that's happened, we can put the mouthpiece on like so. See how easy that goes on with cork grease? You use cork grease. Now we have our mouthpiece on a certain amount of the way, but we're not quite sure, right? We want to make sure that it's firmly on there, right? If you need paper to hold it on there, your cork is too small. Maybe look into replacing it if you're passionate about it. Otherwise, you have to keep using the paper, right? We want to make sure that it's firmly on there so it's not easily movable. All right. Then next we want to test, is this far in enough? Is it too far in? Is it not far in enough? That's going to all depend on intonation. And all of you should be using a tuner of some kind, right? So we're going to use that to test, to see how we're doing, how we're feeling, where we're at, right? So if that's too flat, pull this and push it in, push it out. If it's too sharp, push it back in. Go both ways. Make sure you're in tune, at least with a tuner or whoever you're playing with, right? So, what if you're squeaking? Well, if you're squeaking, you got to look at your mouthpiece, make sure, or your reed, make sure you actually wet it enough, right? Like we were talking about earlier. It helps our reed vibrate and create a full sound. It's squeaking, it's probably dry, right? And again, your intonation, what if it's still sharp? What if you are okay in the middle and then you're all sharpened up? Well, it could be your mouth, and we'll talk about that in our next video. But for now, you know, if you don't think it's any of those things, it's obviously here. Make sure you adjust it from here, in or out. Right? Easy. What if you can't get your low notes out? Well, look what happens sometimes if you don't put this mouthpiece on quite enough. To me, low notes don't quite sound right. They don't quite come out the way you want them to unless this mouthpiece is on enough. And once it is, and so now you're set up to do all the playing and melody making and practicing you want to do. So make it. But always remember, kids, set up your saxophone properly first. I'm Ricardo Pascal. See you next time.